Hi, I'm Cyrus Engerer from the Labour Party and I'm a candidate for the upcoming European Parliament elections. And today with me I have Roselyn who's a candidate for the Nationalist Party for the same elections. The topic I chose today to discuss is what should a member of the European Parliament do once elected. We have seen 5 years of attacks on Malta, 5 years of attacks from 3 members of the European Parliament, all of whom were elected on behalf of the Nationalist Party. It seems that for them, during these past 5 years, the national interest took second position, and their main interest was their political party's interest. In fact, they tried to attack our country's reputation, attack our country's credibility, and also attack our economy. Because when you attack a country's reputation, you would be attacking the country's economy at the end of the day, the jobs of workers, the pensions of pensioners, and the stipends of our students. The 25th of May will give us a choice between those who want to work for Malta in the European Parliament and make sure that our economy continues to grow, make sure that jobs continue flowing into Malta, and make sure that our people's standards of living is moving forward. On the other hand, we have a choice called Adrian Delia, who is synonymous now with a split party, no unity at all in the Nationalist Party, and a track record of the Nationalist Party in government of unemployment, deficit, and taking the economy backwards. So I believe it's a clear choice between Joseph Muscat on one hand, who wants to continue this success that we're having and we have had in the past 5 years, and Adrian Delia, who unfortunately represents disunity, fighting within the Nationalist Party, and a problem for the economy.
Cyrus, I do not agree with your statements, and the reason being is that, first of all, I believe that the members of the European Parliament who have represented us throughout these years, obviously I'm referring to my colleagues, Roberta, David and Francis, I believe that the 3 of them have worked thoroughly, have given their best, and have represented the Maltese and the Gossetans. And I have told you this before, and I'm going to say it one time more, I have no intention of going on any debate and trying to badmouth my colleagues or trying to actually talk against them, because at the end of the day, I do not believe that they deserve that.
But would you do the same? Would you do the same thing, attacking Malta continuously in the European Parliament?
It is not about attacking Malta. We are basically only talking about facts. The fact that this government, the Labour government, has been one of the most corrupt governments we've known, and
really?
Obviously. Yes, and obviously even Alfred's son said that if he were Conrad Mitzi, he would actually resign. So this is not us saying it; it's someone who represents your party in Europe saying it.
But you know what I heard from your end? What I heard from your end was that eGrant was the Prime Minister's company. I heard that a number of times from all of your politicians in the Nationalist Party. The Nationalist Party media continued lying about the Prime Minister, and at the end of the day, it came out that all that you were saying was a total lie. And this is now confirmed by the courts of justice.
I didn't hear. I read what Alfred Sant has been saying. And another thing I would like to point out to you, that this election is not an election between Adrian Delia and Joseph Muscat. This is an election to find the 6th best representatives, be it from your party, be it from our party, but I believe our party has a very valid list of candidates and we need to choose those representatives. And another thing I want to tell you, just to answer your question, which you always ask me about what I would do. First of all, as you know, I'm the international secretary of the Parti Naționalista, so I am often in Brussels. So you can also ask me what I am currently doing.
But what would you do as a member of the European Parliament? Will you be working against Malta, as Roberta did? Roberta Metsola wrote a resolution against Malta. She did write a resolution against Malta and Slovakia. And in this resolution, she said that the European Commission should start Article 7 procedures against Malta.
I would not agree with that.
It's facts.
And
it's black on white.
No, and I would go further and say that I will always, like my colleagues, work in the best interest, like I already do. I go to Brussels very often. I go to Brussels.
So do I. But the difference is that
as well as I attend summits with Adrian Delia. I go to political assembly. So I've already made inroads in Brussels. And every time I go there, there's only one thing I say about Malta: that I am proud to be Maltese in the sense.
So you don't say the same thing as Simon Busuttil used to say. Simon Busuttil used to say that he's ashamed that he's Maltese. You're
But
proud that you're Maltese. And
I haven't finished
that's
my
a very good
sentence.
thing. That's a very good thing.
Of course, I'm proud to be Maltese,
That's
but
a very good
I
thing.
would be...
Unlike Simon Busuttil, who says otherwise.
I would be even prouder if I do not have to, every time I go, explain and I'm always being questioned about the corruption, about also the assassination.
About the hatred that David Kaza and Roberta Metsola give out to everyone with regards to our country. That is what David Kaza and Roberta Metsola have been doing for the past 5 years.
You know what?
I experienced them. I was in Brussels. I was in the European Parliament on behalf of government, and I saw what they did. They used to give papers out against Malta, speak in every MEP's ears against Malta. This is what they used to do. This is what we have seen them do all the time. And so far, no new candidate of the Nationalist Party has said that he or she would be different to what Kaza and Metsola did.
If you give me time to answer,
that is what the people don't want anymore.
You know what people want? People want
a strong economy that they have, jobs that they have.
People want work-life balance, which our representatives have worked on. People want also more secure borders, which our representatives have worked on. People want more health issues, which we also have proposals on cancer, which our representatives have worked on. This is not us being negative. It is about a party. It is about having representatives that have thoroughly worked on various, wait a minute, let me finish, on various directives, on various proposals, and the questions we should be asking is, why is it that under this government, men and women, women are still struggling in terms of when it comes to statistics?
That is our challenge, and people believe that is our challenge, and that is what we're working on. And this
when are you going to start working on it?
We have worked on it, and women have moved upwards in the past. Yes, they have.
Look at the statistics.
The statistics are very clear on this, and it shows that we're moving upwards.
No,
we're still a long way to go. We have made initial steps, and we have a long way to go. And you know what people know? People know that whatever challenge we have in front of us, they know that Joseph Muscat is the Prime Minister that can win these challenges and move the country forward.
No, because this
unlike what they think of Adrian Delia. What do people think of Adrian Delia? Tell us what they think of Adrian Delia.
Let me finish my argument first.
You've been hiding Adrian Delia in this campaign all throughout the campaign.
Don't need to hide
why
him.
isn't he speaking to journalists? Why isn't he speaking to journalists every day as Joseph Muscat is doing?
For 1 year and a half.
They had the debate.
Yes, about time
obviously,
as well.
Debates are there during electoral campaigns.
Oh, really?
And we had the debate.
But he has been shying away from a debate from Adrian Delia
Adrian Delia is shying away from journalists every single day. He does. Why isn't he addressing journalists every day?
He's not shying away.
Why isn't he addressing journalists every day?
First of all,
I know that the Nationalist Party, or half of the Nationalist Party, is ashamed of Adrian Delia, and that is the reason why you are hiding Adrian Delia away from journalist scrutiny.
And you know what Joseph Muscat is doing? Joseph Muscat is trying to hide, to put aside yourself and other MEP candidates who may be valid as well.
We're on every single channel all the time discussing, debating. We're here today.
Trying to make it between him and Adrian Delia, when in reality this election is a European Parliament election where we need to choose the best representatives for our country.
It is a wider choice than that. It is a choice between those who divide and those who unite. It is those who are negative and those who give aspirations to the people. That is reality.
Look how you started the debate. That's negativity at its best.
That is what you have done.
Because that is what you do in every debate.
That is what you have done in the European Parliament during the past 5 years. We have seen it. We have seen Roberta Metsola write that report against Malta, the resolution asking the Commission.
She did not write a report against Malta. This is the narrative. This is the narrative of Labour Malta.
Did she come to Malta together with the rest of the committee and write that report? Yes, she was here and she wrote the report.
Why don't you talk to your colleague, Anna Gomes? She is also against what your own government is doing, and she is also.
Anna Gomes did the same thing to her prime minister. Anna Gomes did the same thing to her prime minister in Portugal twice. She did the same thing to a number of politicians, and in fact, the Party of European Socialists is not allowing her to contest the upcoming elections again.
Cyrus.
And if you speak about Anna Gomes, let's speak about Anna Gomes. Today you had a billboard in our streets against abortion. Anna Gomes is the person who wrote reports in favor of abortion one after another in the European Parliament.
In fact, you are also in favor of abortion.
I'm not in favor of abortion.
Not you as in you personally, but the socialist group are in favor of abortion.
The Labour Party is against abortion, and it is very clear. The Labour Party is against abortion, and Anna Gomes, the person who you are here audiolating, is the person who is against.
How is it that your party?
This is the person who wrote reports in favor of abortion in Parliament.
Cyrus, how
and that
is
is
it
why
that
she's against
you-
Joseph Muscat. Do you know why she's against Joseph Muscat? Because back when he was an MEP, he abstained in her report on abortion, and because of Joseph Muscat, her report did not go through.
Can I
And
tell
that
you
is
why
the
is it
grudge that she
that-
has
that-
against Joseph
so why
Muscat,
is it that
and
the
that is what
Labour
you used in
Party
the European
are-
Parliament in the past 5 years.
Why is it that the Labour Party is endorsing then the electoral manifesto?
The electoral manifesto of the
so
Party of
obviously-
European Socialists is clear. It is in favor of abortion, but if you read well, there is a footnote saying that the Malta Labour Party is against abortion and that the Malta Labour Party does not
Are you
agree.
really against it?
The
I think
Labour
Nationalist
Party,
has been
the
very
Labour
clear on
Party
this.
is against abortion. Are you seeing any movements to have abortion here in Malta? No, there aren't any from any political party. I think this is the issue on which both political parties agree on. So I don't know why all this scaremongering.
what-
Although we have seen your scaremongering.
It is not about
We have seen
What about
scaremongering.
your scaremongering?
We have
You
seen
keep telling
scaremongering
people-
on divorce before, on civil union, on same-sex adoptions, on marriage equality, on IVF. This is what the Nationalist Party always does, and where the Labour Party's forte is civil rights and liberties. However, we're very clear. We are in favour of those civil rights and liberties that we have introduced in Malta. After 25 years of nothing, we have changed our country from zero to hero on LGBTI rights, and we are, as a party, against abortion, and it is clear, full stop. No more discussion
under this
about it.
legislature, report one after the other, and this is not the Partit Nazzjonalista saying it, but these are the various reports coming out from international, like the IMF, the Manival, the Greco report. There are so many reports, the list is long as I don't know what, where every report is obviously clearly saying that this government is not performing well, and we have
You know
a
what the
situation-
European Commission said yesterday?
we
The European
have a
Commission
situation-
yesterday said
You
that
are not
Malta
letting me
has.
finish. We
The
have a
European Commission
situation
yesterday,
where this
because you
country-
are not correct.
No, I am very correct.
The European
It's not
Commission
about,
yesterday.
I am not saying what I
the
am
European
saying.
Commission yesterday-
I'm actually
And are you
quoting what the
forgetting all the other
report.
reports? Are you forgetting all the other reports?
Of course I'm not
The European
forgetting all the
Commission
other
yesterday
reports.
saying that Malta is going to have the biggest and the largest
You are
economic
very
growth.
How
From
are
all
we
across
having
the
the
European
economic
Union,
growth?
we are having
Because-
the biggest
because-
economic growth because we have a government that listens to the people, a government that acts,
And a prime minister
government
that
decides,
actually talks
and
against
a
the
government
worker, and
that-
actually a
as if-
prime minister
as if.
that actually looks down on the
As
workers
if.
and actually
You know
passes
who looked down at
comments
Maltese workers?
and who actually
Tonja
looks down.
Fenech from the Nationalist Party said, "Man ħadmux iċ-ċuċ Malti." Ekken qal Tonja
And-
Fenech.
and the
That is
fact your
what
prime
Tonja
minister
Fenech
had
said
to do.
in the past.
And Joseph
The
Muscat had to actually apologize
Definitely
because
not.
bec-
Do you know that-
definitely not. This was actually
what
this was,
Joseph
this was
Muscat,
actually
Joseph Muscat apologized
reported.
because- yes, Joseph Muscat apologized
So,
because
am I
he was
missing something?
misunderstood. And
Oh,
what
he
he
was
said, yes, of course, he was
misunderstood.
misunderstood. And he's
actually
humble enough.
realized-
He's humble enough to admit.
And we shouldn't treat
that
our
he-
workers like that.
he
Our
Of course
party-
not. Of course
our
not.
party
And it is the
and-
Labour Party that has always protected workers in this
Is it
country.
protecting workers?
Of course it is.
They cannot afford to pay their rent. They don't have decent pay. They are constantly complaining about their conditions. It's not about that. It's about the quality
You know
of
what
work.
people used to say
And
5 years
also-
ago? People
and
were
also
crying for jobs 5 years ago.
the
Today we are
electoral-
overflowing with jobs.
our
and that is the
electoral
difference.
manifesto as
You know
well
what we had
deals
5
with
years
this.
ago? 5 years ago we had a government
We are
that
talking-
voted in
Cyrus,
favor
Cyrus,
of the
Cyrus.
electricity bills to increase.
Cyrus.
And Lawrence Gomes said that he was happy doing so.
Cyrus, we're
and that is the
talking over
difference.
each other, and I don't think it's gonna be an effective
of course,
debate.
Today we have the reality in which we have the lowest unemployment rate ever in our country. And
we
that is
also
because
have-
we have a government that has
Yes.
employees and workers at its heart.
And if you have workers in your heart, you wouldn't have bad conditions of work, you wouldn't have people getting paid less than the minimum wage, and you wouldn't have Joseph Muscat making such negative comments about
The
the
difference
workers.
is that we have increased the minimum wage. We are the government that
we
increased
are
the
the
minimum
party
wage
that
after 25 years.
constantly talks about the workers, talks about employers as well, because we are a party that believes in, if you don't mind,
But people know the difference. People know the
A
difference
debate is
between
about two
what you
people
did and what
talking,
we-
not one,
Yes.
not one on
Hopefully we'll have the ability to speak both of us, but you're not giving us the chance.
No,
to do so.
you haven't even stopped.
Not even you.
Maybe,
So we should have 1 minute each.
No, or maybe we should stop each other.
So,
But
okay.
anyway,
I'll give you the
to
microphone
be
on this.
because obviously we're on a roll, so just keep on talking, and then obviously
Because there's no moderator, so it's more difficult, I guess.
I know, exactly. So we have no one making signs for us to stop. At the end of the day, Cyrus, what I believe, and I strongly believe this, is that the Partit Nazzjonalista has put the workers as a priority. If you follow closely what we have been proposing, even in the electoral manifesto of this MEP election, we are actually putting the workers at the forefront, like we're putting also environment at the forefront, and the disappointment of the people. Of course, there are people who are happy, but there are people who are disappointed, and there are a number of people who are disappointed to see that Malta has not made steps ahead in certain sectors.
You know what the problem is?
So that is something which I believe whoever is going to be representing the Maltese in the European Parliament, whether it be you, whether it be me, whether it be the others, we all have to pull the same rope, and we have to make sure to get the best for the Maltese and the Gossipers.
You know
because at the end of the day, when we're in politics, you spoke a lot. When we're in politics,
at the same amount of time.
I promise you I will stop after this.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we are in politics for one reason, and that is to serve the Maltese and the Gossipers. And I believe, and I wholeheartedly believe it, that the candidates of the Partit Nazzjonalista are doing that, and we are working hard, and we will keep working hard. Okay, I'm going to stop so you can say something.
Do you know what
we
the
are
problem
moderating
is?
ourselves
Exactly.
now.
Do you know what the problem is? The problem is that you have no credibility as a party when it comes to proposals.
We don't have credibility.
Are you going to allow me to speak now?
Sorry, I apologize.
So you see who was speaking all the time and interrupting.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
the problem is that you have no credibility at all as a party when it comes to what you propose and what actually you deliver afterwards. You were the party in government that proposed a number of beautiful things, but then never ended up implementing them. We could speak of the increase in income tax, for instance, that you had to do from 35% to 25%. It was never done. It had to be a Labour government after 2013 that implemented your promises. We could speak of the cohabitation law, for instance, in 2008, and it was promised in 2003 as well. One promise after the other, which were never implemented, and that is why people left your party in droves to join other political forces in this country, because you are not credible when it comes to implementing your proposals. You might have beautiful and glossy electoral manifestos, well done for the beautiful designs, but at the end of the day, it is not about the beautiful design. It is about implementing what you would have promised earlier on. And this is the difference between your party and my party. And that is the difference that people are seeing in their homes, because the people in their homes are experiencing, for the first time ever, a government that delivers. A government that delivers on what it has promised before the 2017 election and before the 2013 elections. Is that what you believe? I can assure you that people at home believe otherwise.
And I can assure you, Cyrus, that as much as you are commenting on our electoral manifesto, at least we have proposals.
So we don't have proposals.
And I haven't finished.
We implement our proposals.
And also, last time I mentioned it in one of my speeches about your slogans and but slogans do not make the trick. What we need to see is statistics, which to date shows us.
That was that is the real statistic.
And which
when
shows
it comes
us.
to employment, when it comes to civil rights, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to the finances of the country.
When it comes to the environment, you saw the latest statistics. We are the fourth worst when it comes to the quality of the air. We are the worst when it comes to recycling.
And people will trust Muscat to solve that.
But you had all this time to solve it. Why haven't you solved it?
We started solving one problem after another.
Why are you making promises
you know that
now?
You left a mess in this country.
We didn't leave a mess.
You did leave a mess. We were in an excessive deficit procedure, for instance.
We left a mess when we created all these different industries, when we created jobs, when we created
unemployment
innovation.
You created. We had the highest unemployment ever in 2012.
And you created cheap labour.
Is that how you solve the biggest unemployment problem of our country?
Is that how you solve problems? By getting people and treating them badly?
It was in 2012. Do you know what the deficit was in 2012?
I am not going to talk about the deficit because
you don't want to speak of the deficit.
No, because we're talking about the workers.
So they have a surplus, that's why. And that is
if we have a surplus, why do we have people who are homeless? Why is there poverty?
So you're questioning the surplus? Is there a surplus or not?
But the surplus is not, it's not
Is
about
there
the
a
surplus.
surplus? Of course it is.
It
is because of that surplus that today.
How people are living and the quality of life. We're doing the same thing again.
But it is because of that surplus that today in Rabat, for instance, Parliamentary Secretary Antonia Jus launched the new service that they will be giving to all people over the age, to all pensioners basically, and people above the age of 62 here in Rabat to use the tuk-tuk, for instance, to go from one place to another for free. It is because of the surplus that today we have free childcare. It is because of the surplus that today we are giving these issues. You know what we're giving?
And is it now that Joseph Muscat comes up with the idea of housing just before an election?
People who adopt children today are being given 10,000 euros to cover part of the costs, the many costs that these people go through. This is where the surplus is going, and these are real life stories that people are experiencing every day in their lives.
We're doing it again. There are also other real life stories where you go in homes and people with they have the stories of, for example, 2 teachers, okay, that are not even coping with the standard of living. It has become so expensive. You have people who can't afford to pay their bills. You have people who can't afford to pay rent. Do you realize how rent has shooted up and how expensive it is? You have people who are now at the risk of the risk of being poor. You have people who are suffering. This is the reality.
Has gone down by half. There's still much more to go,
this is the reality.
Has gone down by half from your time, you know?
And I have to mention this, and I mention it again because I'm a woman myself and I speak to a number of people. People are disappointed that we were promised the most feminist government, and yes, statistics, we are doing badly.
Are you in favor of the gender benefits that this government wants to see more female representation in parliament? Are you in favor of that? Because so far your party has not spoken about this. What is the position of your party?
I can answer you on that. First of all,
I would love to have an answer from the Nationalist Party because we haven't had anyone so far.
I can tell you that first of all, the Nationalist Party has always been at the forefront of gender equality, and yes, we believe
no progress at all happened in the 25 years of the Nationalist Party government.
There were incentives, but let me finish this. We believe.
How many females were in parliament in the past 25 years?
But that's got nothing to do with...
We're speaking of female representation at the moment.
Did you have female representation yourself?
What we're trying to do now is to
can I
introduce...
answer your question?
Please, answer. Are you in favor of the bill?
In principle, the Nationalist Party agrees with the fact that we need to have more female representation.
How will we do that?
At the moment, if you give me time to finish, at the moment, and our time is soon up, so we have to also look at the clock. You're going to be in charge of looking at the clock, please. At the moment...
Just answer the question and tell us what your position is, because that is a very important thing that people want to know.
Let me repeat myself just in case you didn't hear me. In principle
you are, but in actual fact, what are you doing?
At the moment, the document which has been proposed is being analysed.
So you have no position.
The position is that in principle we are in agreement that we need more female representation.
But you have done nothing about this in the past 30 years. And now you have no position at all. You have no positions at all today on this issue. Like you have no positions on the
had incentives for women to
return.
Wait, let me finish on the other. We had incentives for women to return to work. We also had it in our proposal to have childcare. So we are, of course, at the forefront.
You always have things on your proposals, but you never implement them.
Yes, but you have to be in government to implement as well.
25 years,
yes,
and you never implemented
a number of incentives.
What have you implemented in the past 25 years?
Also, just for you to know, thanks to Malta
very nice proposals, but nothing in actual substance to implement.
Just thanks to Malta, I'm looking at the time, just thanks to Malta being also part of the EU, which is thanks to the Party Nazionalista, which you were part of yourself.
It was the majority of Maltese and Gozitans that voted in favour
the number of
joining
laws,
the European Union. It wasn't the Party Nazionalista alone. It was a huge movement of people.
And the number of laws that just came into force, protecting the workers and protecting as well various conditions which affect gender equality, also came thanks to that. So I do not believe that you are being fair. I would go as far as to say...
How many females? Tell me the increase of females in parliament.
I would go, Cyrus, as far as to say, and I say it with responsibility, that as a party we are not perfect, but I wouldn't go far as to say that as a party we've done absolutely nothing.
When it comes to female representation in parliament, you did nothing, and today you still have no position on it.
I told you in principle we are in it.
We don't want to hear about your principles. We want to see an actual fact. Are you going to back a government on this? Are you going to back government on this?
For your information, there were also meetings, I'm informed, that even Claudette Buttigieg also met Honourable Julia Farrugia, so they are already in discussions.
Probably we'll do the same thing as you did on the Gozo Tunnel, for instance. You're in principle in favour, but then you're against.
No, we didn't say we're against.
Are you going to give me time to answer now? Because you took most of the program. We have 1 minute to go, and in reality, the thing is that you have a lot of beautiful proposals, but you never implement them. When it comes to female representation, you have no position. When it comes to the fuel station policy, you have no position. When it came to waste to energy, you had no position and you did not participate in the committee.
We were the people talking about...
This is the nationalist party that we're experiencing. On the
so work-life balance has nothing to do.
Work-life
balance that we have been working on.
A positive Labour Party of aspiration, a positive Labour Party of unity, which is working
when you're always
in
negative
order
yourself.
when we're
Where is the
working in order
positivity?
to have a better Malta.
Where
And
is
a
the
better Malta
positivity?
means a stronger
Where is the
economy. It
positivity?
means more jobs for the Maltese
Positivity
and
means-
it means more. Positivity means more
going to
jobs.
parliament,
Positivity means a stronger
work-life
economy.
balance,
Positivity
better
means
health.
surplus. Positivity means the way that we are
Positivity means cheap
moving
labor as
forward
well.
towards
Positivity
a
means
better
people
Malta
being
that we
poor.
have today.
Positivity means being people
No,
being poor.
positivity means a surplus. It means
only,
what we have
only
today.
a few
Employment
people.
for everyone.
Only a few
That
people.
is what we have
Only
today.
a few people.
We have employment for
only
everyone.
a few
That
people,
is the
and the
difference
selected few
from
get
an excessive
appointed.
deficit procedure to surplus, from unemployment to
So
full
we get to a
employment.
point where
this
only
is
the
reality.
few-
From no civil rights to equality. That is what people
You know
are
what
seeing
the
and what
reality
people are
is?
living.
The
And
reality
time's
is
up.
that-
Stop.
European elections 2019. Red, blue, or better, something new? Watch our weekly news show on Saturdays, the 4MALTA MEP candidate talks, and our election special on 25th May. Like our channel and vote for Malta.